Merry Christmas. We just went and watched Terrifier 3.
Yeah, it was traumatizing, to say the least. Oh my gosh, like, okay.
Before we start talking, there are going to be spoilers. So,
no
you clicked on this shit and you're expected to watch.
Dumb.
This is your first time actually seeing us.
Yeah, face reveal. Two basic white dudes.
I'm the one that plays the Dark Souls, and he's the one that plays every other game.
Xander, Logan.
We're the people at our channel.
Yeah.
The frog tank for the two frogs are actually behind me.
The two frog.
Frogman 2. There you go.
The two
You figured it
frogs
out.
and the two men.
Merry fucking... You figured it out. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
So,
Then you just say Merry fucking Christmas.
Fuck you. So... Yeah, Terrifier 3 is a lot. I'll say that much. It's something else. I guess we're just gonna run through the movie. So, talk. So,
yeah. We paused it a little. We gotta, like...
I'm just gonna fucking edit that out, so... They're not gonna fucking know.
I'm in the
You
cut.
fucking idiot.
Okay.
So... Anyway. Basically, I feel like the best way to kind of start off a conversation about Terrifier 3 is to just go with the beginning. So, it starts off, right? Me and him. The lights were actually on in our theater while it started.
The first 5 minutes, the lights were on.
People started fucking clapping when they got them to turn the lights off.
And by people, we mean mainly us, but...
yeah, I yelled.
But, so, starts off, this little kid's like, you know, she's happy, it's like Christmas time, you know, and she comes into her parents' room, and there's like creaking on the ceiling, you know, so of course a kid's gonna think, oh, it's Santa, of course, you know, he's coming a little early.
I heard that shit when I was younger too.
Well, it wasn't Art the Clown. Huh?
Thank God, yeah.
So, she goes into her parents' room. Her dad's got work in like 3 hours. Her dad was a fucking dick.
Oh yeah,
my God,
no.
I was so glad when he died.
Spoiler. I'm just kidding. You clicked on this for a spoiler. Get over your fucking stuff.
So she goes in there. She's talking to oh, knocked something off our table. So she goes in there. She's telling the mom wakes up. The mom like brings her back to bed.
There's nothing like that around.
Yeah, she was like, oh, it's not Santa yet, it's too early. It's probably his elves, you know, they're measuring the chimney, seeing if our roof is stable enough to hold all those reindeer. Really heartwarming moment. But then you remember it's a Terrifier movie. So, she's about to go to sleep, then she hears more. She hears him, like, inside down there.
So,
and the mom, like, lays out cookies and stuff for the elves because the daughter asked. So they go back to bed, they go to sleep.
Remembering every detail of this, like it's PTSD. Holy fuck. I didn't remember half of this shit.
And so she goes down there, like she's hearing noises downstairs, and she's like, oh my gosh.
Fuck.
It's gotta be Santa, right? Like he's gotta have come early. And if it's his elves, maybe I could get on his good side, you know what I'm saying? Get a little extra present.
Get a little meat.
And
also, by the way, it's not us pissing. It is the frog tank. The frog tank
we're just
water.
Pissing all over.
And the fat one is Kermit, who's actually, you know, if you look, our profile picture is the fat one, and he's leaning the filter over, so it's so much fucking louder because he's so fucking fat. So that's great.
So yeah, she goes down there. She sees it's like a clown in a Santa costume. So you know, you're like, oh.
Luckily she didn't say anything, so she actually hid, and Art didn't see her.
Yeah.
So what happens is he goes up the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Well, but earlier we gotta mention she went up and woke up her brother, for like a tiny bit.
And he's like, Juliet, shut the fuck up! I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And by the way, probably a 5-year-old.
When Art the Clown comes in, you know, he turns on the lights and stuff, and he just.
The kid goes, Juliet, I told you to leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep.
Oh my gosh, you hear it all for like at least a minute. It's just like flesh sounds. Like it's just him cutting up the kid.
Yeah, and that was a fucking ride. I'll tell you that much.
But when Arthur Clown's done, I will say he's polite enough to close the door, turn off the
lights
light,
off.
and
Then he gives the parents a visit because you know what they say. He's got to make sure that the naughty kids get their coal. So he goes into their room and proceeds to hack up the dad who was naughty. So
he was.
You know what they say.
Then the wife wakes up and she's like, "Oh shit!" She's yelling, and
she's like, and she runs to the doctor.
Arthur Clown in this moment, he's like messing with her. He's like looking at her, pointing at the X. He's like, and so they're chasing. She closes him in. He's breaking through. He's breaking through that door.
That was awkward.
Yeah, and
it's actually a scene from
The Shining.
Yeah, it's like a reference. It's a reference.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a shitty reference, but she runs into the daughter's room. The daughter's not there.
So then she's like, "Oh, she probably already like got up out of here, you know."
She opens the brother's room.
The kid is cut up into
several pieces.
I'd say like
his head is on one side, his arm is on the other
six
side.
Pieces. It's his head, his torso, both his arms, and then both his legs. Yeah, it's like a super gory thing. I saw that in the theaters. That is, like, if there was ever like an opening to a film that would let you know what you're getting into, it's that.
It was a fucking ride. I was not. I knew what I was getting into, but I didn't. And I turned to him and I go, "Holy fucking shit! We were not ready for this." So, we'll skip a little bit in the movie, but we meet this character named Sienna.
We don't meet her. She's in the last Terrifier, and we missed a bit of this beginning part still. Like, okay, circle back. So the mom sees the kid hacked up, and she's like,
"What the fuck do you think happens to her?"
So then Arthur Clown finally gets out of the room, and he's running down. They're like chasing her down the stairs. She's screaming, and she locked the door from earlier. Like her husband left it unlocked.
There's
of course
blood on her hands from her husband, so she can't fucking figure out how to unlock the door.
Yeah,
because her hands are slippery.
Comes out, hits her like dead ass in the spine, and she like falls back on a wall. Gets her in the stomach. Then she's like, he's low key torturing her. Like hits her in the shoulder. I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh yeah, no, he cut her like.
She drops her to her limbs, like to her knees, and just like. You know that one scene from The Walking Dead with like Glenn?
Oh yeah.
I think I referenced that in the film. Like I said, Maggie, I'll find you, because that's what he says in the show.
He did.
And
he did. Oh yeah, that's so. Oh my god, that was fucking dark.
So
thanks for reminding me of that.
So she dies, and then Arthur Clown's just eating the cookies in there, and he washes the plate. Very polite guy, you know.
You know what? 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 murder. You know, like if I'm gonna die, at least clean up the house. So when my family comes, it's clean. Well, besides the body and the blood, of their loved ones cut into many pieces. Present. Exactly.
But,
so.
Yeah, and then the daughter makes the noise, and we don't know if the daughter dies, but.
It's a Terrifier film. Yeah. Figure it out. So. What happens next? It takes us to Sienna, and you guys know from the last movie, Sienna.
She was the final girl from last movie. Like she survived the last movie. Wait, we don't go to Sienna yet though. We go to her. Do. No, we go to the 5 years earlier, like the flashback to how he came back.
You're exactly right. So it gets us a flashback. As you know,
like second movie gets decapitated.
So. Then it's gonna take us to good old Vicky, possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy because like, I don't know, like it's a security guy. He walks in, they're eating like another one of like the faculty at the mental hospital, and her eye turns like, cause she only has one eye, it turns like this orange when the demon like takes over, cause like,
it's like orange,
Vicky's
red,
like,
black.
"Oh please, he's making me do it. He's making me do it." And it's like some like Evil Dead shit.
He's got like her intestines are hanging out.
Yeah.
As Art is feeding her the body as Art is eating it, and she's sitting there like, "He's making me do it. I can't. I don't want to. He's making me do it."
And then like the demon takes over and like on some Evil Dead shit. She's like, "Shut up, bitch," you know, like.
Yeah, like the demon's quite funny. I loved Demon. So then we get to Sienna. Thank you.
Yeah.
So now we meet Sienna, and well, I mean not meet, but we see Sienna again after all this time. She's been in psychiatric wards for a while.
Yeah, it's like 5 years from the events of Terrifier 2.
So, I mean, I guess we could also add that Art rests. Art and the demon kill themselves, so they rest. They're resting. So, we meet Sienna, and we see kind of how she's doing. Not great, but she gets to go to be with her aunt, Gabby, her
aunt, her niece, and her uncle.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So, we get or her cousin, that's her cousin. Gabby would be her cousin if it's her aunt.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Her cousin, Gabby. So, her cousin, Gabby, her uncle, and her aunt. So, we get to see all of them. And then we get to see the demolition workers, and then they walk in. They find, this is like the second kill of the movie. Well, not second kill, but these are the next starters of the kills. So, then we see, and again, the demon, very polite, very nice. I'm not saying the fucking D word, kill yourself. She gets stabbed, she stabs one of the dudes in the neck with a piece of shard of glass, and then Art wakes up, and then beats the living shit out of the other dude. Holy crap, he just wanted to torture him. He's throwing him around and shit. Then the demon climbs up there with the shard of glass and just starts pleasuring herself with the shard of glass.
Like, yeah, she uses it as a dildo. Like, Art
He would know, he's used them before.
He's not wrong. But
for me.
Art, like, just, you know, he's torturing this guy, and she's got a shard of glass, and she's, like, rubbing on herself, and she starts, like, shoving it inside her.
Clip that and then make that's gonna go on the TikTok. It's just you going, shove it inside her, yeah! But so that happened, and wow.
Clip farming.
You're welcome. But that was something else. Art obviously kills the dude. He has his fun and he kills him. So, clearly, Sienna here, she starts having these kind of issues at the dinner table with Gabby. And I'm fast forwarding a little bit. I'm not going to go like step by step through the entire movie. I'm probably going to throw around some parts because we're doing more of a synopsis, not like a review, and we're just kind of trying to hit the main points and the funny shit. Gabby throws like a fit. Oh yeah, he also said, do you want to repeat it for you when she's pleasuring herself with a shard of glass?
When she's using that shard of glass, her vagina is bleeding profusely, as it would if you're shoving a shard of glass in there. And
he would know.
In the movie theater, I'm like, we're sitting there watching that scene. We're both like, just like our faces like our jaws are dropped.
Oh yeah, we were both kind of uncomfortable at that point.
I turn over
Two people walked out. Two people in front of us happened to stand up and walk out during that, and we were like, damn, let's see how many people go out through the entire movie.
But yeah, so I turn over to him and I go, I guess someone could say she's a squirter. And
we're funny people.
Yeah.
The dudes behind us were talking the entire time, so don't feel bad for everyone else in the theater. We weren't ruining anything because the dudes behind us were, and we just joined in. So we get.
There was also a couple in there, like, okay.
Canoodling. How the fuck are you canoodling during Terrifier 3? Like,
Okay,
I don't know.
Like, I understand, like, you know, like holding each other close if you get scared. No, they were like legit, like. So you know how like those movie theater seats have the dividers, right?
They lifted that shit up. You already know.
Yeah, they lifted that up. Leaned over, like, on his lap, and at one point, I'm not gonna lie, there's this point later on in the movie, and, like, I swear they were making out. There's no way they
He might have been getting that head.
A butter beat off.
Butter beat off.
Yeah.
From there.
Yeah, so she has this, like, really bad, like, hallucination that we believe to be the demon actually attacking Sienna early on. Like, it's foreshadowed. Like, kind of like being like, oh, by the way, you're fucked. And
it's the only reason it scared us was because the theater had its audio too high. Like, the commercials were fucking loud. And so when she slams her hands on the table, it was ear piercing. We jumped very hard. So from there, she goes in the room, takes some pills, and then calls good old gay twink nerd. I think his name's John. Jonathan. Gay twink nerd. And gay nerd is...
her brother from the second movie.
Yes, and gay nerd is doing
so,
better, supposedly.
Yeah, they both survive. She goes to the psych ward because, she actually ended up killing Art the Clown, or so she told people. And he just went on to pursue his education. So, first scene we get of him, he walks in, his roommate's low-key getting freaky. Like, he's about to lay that
She
pipe.
was about to get piped and stands up and goes, "Oh my god, I'm such a big fan.
Yeah,
can you be on my podcast?"
Can you tell me about your murderer experience? Like, I love your story so much. I'm such a big fan. And
shit was fucking weird.
Yeah, the fuck? Like, that's not something you'd bring up to someone that has gone through that. But it was just, yeah. So that happens. And then,
this is gonna be a long video of us just talking to you.
Yeah.
So, again, what it leads into is we get,
Art just, throws around a couple kills to, like, keep the...
this one was funny. We might as well bring it up. He kills fucking cosplayer Santa.
Oh, yeah.
That one was pretty funny. I won't lie. I did laugh.
I didn't think it
because
was
that
funny.
shit was pretty hilarious.
He did pull out a Glock. That was funny.
That shit was hilarious.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry. He just went. He goes.
He reaches into his bag.
He goes. And then fucking blows a dude's brains out. And I'm like, damn.
Mm.
I was a little upset because I was like, damn, you're supposed to be creative, motherfucker.
Oh, he
I felt
was
better.
creative. He made like a what was it? It was like
It was liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, he did. He made a liquid nitrogen fire
Fire extinguisher.
fire extinguisher.
It froze a dude's leg.
Yeah,
and
froze
then,
the outer layers of his leg, and he used a hammer to break it, and it was like super bloody.
Oh, it was nice. It was nice.
It was they had some good effects. Like a lot of the things were like really realistic as far like a dude got shot in the neck and it like splurted out how it would in the real world, and it just.
I mean, it was good. It was a really good movie.
Yeah. And so after that, he's dressed up as Santa, and it kind of leads in like we don't see the scene again, but it leads into that scene from the beginning of the movie where he offs the family. So we can only imagine how many families he did that to.
Probably a lot. So I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit because it's just kind of exposition here. It leads us to the mall.
Oh. Yeah.
So Gabby and Sienna see Art, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Sienna sees Art, and Gabby kind of understands, but kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
Like Gabby's like, "What did you just see? What happened?" Because like. And so, Sienna's like, fuck it, that's him, we're leaving. So they leave. And she goes to see Jonathan. Well, as she goes to see Jonathan, Art gives a bunch of kids presents as Santa because he sits on the chair, and when they're taking him away, the last kid gets his present, and it's a fucking bomb. And it blows up, and there's a bunch of dead kids.
They were all bombs. Like, all the toys had bombs rigged in them.
Well,
it's just that
the
when
big one
opened
is
it,
the
was
one that
the
like
trigger.
exploded all of them, yeah. So a lot of kids died. One kid's face was like completely smashed inwards, and one was in half, and there was guts everywhere.
I like actually almost had to leave during that because like
he turned to me and said, "I may have to go to the bathroom and just take a break for a minute." I said, "I understand that. There's people doing that the entire time. There are people leaving, like a lot."
Yeah.
Well, we didn't. So we keep going, and they get back, and then he's like, Sienna goes to see Jonathan, and Jonathan's like, "Oh my god, blah blah blah, this, that." Then the bitch shows up for the podcast and is like, hey Sienna, you should be on my podcast. You should literally be on my podcast. Snaps. And she goes, fuck you, and then slams her hands on the table, and then she goes to take Jonathan into a room, and she's like, John,
you gotta believe me.
The letters you sent me, they're real. And he's like, fuck, go. And she's like, I have to go back to the Terrifier and get the sword. And I'm like, oh.
She said the thing.
Fire. Literally. And so that whole thing kind of happens, and she does go get the sword and hides it behind the tree. Or we don't know what it is, but it's like, you know what it is. They literally just talked about it, and if you don't know it, you're actually stupid.
Yeah.
So
it's like heavily alluded to it, and then
it comes back at the end.
So the scene after that kind of plays into like the finale. Like, so she walks in, they're just having a little family time.
It picks the fuck up.
Oh yeah, it does. So they're making like these little like snack foods, and they're made out of cereal. And Gabby made the mistake of reading her journal, but she was trying to keep it secret. And in the journal, I guess somewhere,
cereal.
Yeah, she doesn't like cereal. It was said in the journal, and Gabby like turns to her and is like, "Hey, you don't like."
She
cereal,
doesn't like
though."
cereal. Don't make her cereal. Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, let's go play a game, Gabby." Takes her to the room, locks it. You fucking read my journal, bitch. You promised me you wouldn't fucking read my journal. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm just nosy. Because she's a fucking... Low-key, I didn't like Gabby.
I liked her. I thought she was a good
I liked her. I thought she was a good, like... But she is annoying, Loki.
Yeah.
Anyways, so from there, it takes us to them finding about Art doing all that. And so she calls Jonathan, like, oh, we need to go see him. So, like, we need to get him here. He's in danger. Then Art hears... he was going to kill a bunch of kids at the college party. He overhears that one girl talking about Jonathan and Sienna, and he's like, oh, well, oh yeah, big plot point, by the way. Only Sienna can kill Art, and because she's destined to kill Art and the demon, because she is what's making them weaker, not strong enough. So only she can do it with the sword. So that's big plot point that I kind of missed.
Well,
so then,
it's not really revealed until like the end.
They did kind of say it in the.
It's alluded to, but it's not directly stated.
So, they're chilling, and there's they were talking about that, and then she gets on his lap, and I was like, "Ooh, look at my boot move." So Arts, and she said something like, "God," and I want to see, I want to feel his breath feels like. What is it? What is his eyes? What is looking into his eyes? And he's like, God.
"You want to fuck him, don't you?"
No, I don't. And Art's in the background like, "Fuck off, bitch."
Yeah.
Like, he was upset. He was grumpy. And so, rightfully so, what do you do when you're upset about it? You go find them fucking in a shower and cut the other dude completely in half.
Vertically, with a chainsaw.
And before he did that, he shoved the chainsaw up his ass.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Oh my gosh.
I was laughing. So was he. I'm not insane.
Okay, to be fair, the dude kind of deserved it. Like, that was Jonathan's only friend, and he lets himself fall to the poo-tang, you know? And he's just gonna start manipulating Jonathan, and it's super fucked up.
And I'm like, come on, man. Like, Jonathan's been through a lot. And he actually did try to defend him. He goes, hey, he's been through a lot. You don't just get over something like that. And I respected him for that.
Yeah, and the bitch is like,
then
it's been 5 years.
Then he's like, pussy's pussy, so then he decides to give up on Jonathan. So, we get to, after they die, he pulls up in front of the dad, or from earlier, or the uncle, pulls up, Gabby's dad. The uncle pulls up in front of Jonathan's dorm, and it's like, ring ring, Jonathan, I'm outside of your dorm. And then it transforms into kind of like a demon voice over the phone. So it secretly was the demon.
Yeah, the demon and Art had got to Jonathan beforehand. And it just picks the fuck up. So they gave Sienna sleeping meds.
She pulls out her blank-ass phone with a black background and like, only white numbers. And I go, in the middle of the theater, that's a fucking basic-ass background. I think the time
was like 1:59.
It was 1:58. I don't know why I remember that. Maybe because a few minutes ago it was 1:58. So, we were chilling, and then it picks the fuck up.
You don't know how many times Xander looked over and my eyes were just...
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, my eyes were...
Now, he's about to start crying. So...
Okay. Well, hold on.
We'll explain why. So, then there's the uncle's body cut up in half again.
Because wait. So she wakes up, she goes down the stairs, and she hears them talking. They're like, oh, we should just suffocate Sienna in her sleep.
Smother her in her sleep. And it sounds like the uncle and the aunt.
We would be free. We would be free. We would be free. That's what they're saying. And then it like transitions into a demon voice. And she turns the corner and fucking Vicky's there with Art the Clown. And they got her fucking uncle crucified. And decapitated.
He's like, I'm here.
So she gets freaked out. She's kind of trying to go to the Christmas tree to grab the sword, and
boing.
Yep, Art knocks her out.
She
gets
wakes up,
tied up,
and there's the ant. The ant is across from her. I low-key forgot the ant's name.
Okay, so it's Sienna, a table with a random bag on it, and then the aunt.
Santa Christmas bags, because Art is now fucking Santa for some reason.
Alright. Actually, no, I don't want a Christmas present from Art.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't think Logan was okay, or me for that matter, was okay after watching this movie.
Yeah. But we'll get into that later. We're just gonna finish up the story real quick. We're gonna
and then we'll give our rating.
Yeah. And so they're talking like they're duct taped, right? And they're like screaming, you know, they're trying to get out the demons going on their little monologue. And the demon goes up to the aunt and
Don't scream or I'll cut your tongue out.
Yeah. So rips off the duct tape, opens her mouth, gets this tube.
No. Where's my daughter?
I thought you'd never ask.
Oh, yeah.
And goes over and takes the thing off, and there's a head that was being eaten by rats. And then the entire time Cena's like, taped up and tied down. And then, she goes, that's not my daughter.
Yes, it is.
You don't recognize your own flesh and blood?
That was the exact quote, actually. That was really good. I think it actually traumatized this motherfucker.
But
so it goes, and then she's like,
I gave you a Christmas present. Now where's mine?
and so then,
Art gets this tube.
no, you're missing the best parts. Stop! You need to hear the best part. He doesn't want to relive it. So she goes, Sienna, please kill them, make them suffer, and then Art gets a massive glass tube.
It wasn't
Glass.
Yeah.
Plastic tube, and goes.
Yeah, they shove it in her mouth, like, in this little area right here. And he gets his mallet that he knocks Sienna out with and hammers it down. And she gets, like, a Glasgow smile. And it, like, peels all the way from down here. And her jaw's unhinged.
She is alive, and there's vomit and blood coming up the tube. And while there's the white vomit, she grabs one of the rats from the head and sticks the rat
grabs,
down
like,
the
three
tube.
of them.
No, she only puts one. She does only put one.
But three came out.
Yeah, so she grabs the one, and then she's like,
My precious.
and sticks it in the thing, and then it
And
climbs
they get, like,
down.
a blowtorch to, like, scare it down. Because it wasn't going to go down at first. So they get the blowtorch. And it crawls down. Gets stuck, like, right here below your Adam's apple.
It kind of looks like this.
Yeah. And Art gets a knife and the rats fall out.
And the rat, just kind of climbs out. So that was gross. And then she goes...
I was crying at this point. Like, not, like, crying, like, sobbing, but, like, tears were, like, forming in my eyes and, like, two fell.
It
And
was not okay. I was like, dude, are you crying?
Yeah. So...
And so...
I was, like,
That
just
shit
at a
was-
loss for
that
words.
shit was wild. So they turn around and there's Sienna, and they take the thing off, and they're like,
I have a confession to make.
he grabs the head, and Art sticks it on the mantle and goes, and then she goes,
That's
Vicky,
not Gabby.
That's not Gabby.
and puts the glasses on, and
And
lo and behold, it's Jonathan. And then she's like, no, Jonathan! And then Gabby comes around the corner, and she's like, fuck! Gabby!
Mom!
No! And then
Dad!
the girl is like, I don't know what to fucking do. Because, Lucky, Gabby pisses me off at the end for a few reasons, and we're going to get into that in just 1 second. So, she goes, she says something about, they're going to kill her. The demon tried to try to get rid of Vicky, the host, and get a new host in Sienna. And Sienna was like, no, she fights it off. She also has a crown of thorns on right now, because apparently she's fucking the savior now. So...
Which people have mixed feelings about, because I feel like it's making fun of God.
But she's a fucking demon.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
But, yeah, we'll get into that later. So, yeah, she brings in Gabby. Gabby's all like, oh no, what's happening? And then they're, like, right about to kill Gabby, and she's like, wait.
I'm sorry you
But-
didn't get to open my Christmas
Yeah.
present that I got for you. And then
She's like, oh, that's not fair. Which one is it?
The one behind the tree.
With the
And
angels on it.
With the oh yeah.
Typical.
And she grabs the thing, and she gives it to him, and then she gives it to Sienna, and then Art breaks her hands.
Yeah, Art breaks her hands. Her bones are like actually out of her hands.
They're like squishy, and then she's trying to open it, and it's taken for a while, and then Art starts smacking the crap out of her arm.
Yeah. She's like,
And then she does get it open, and she's like, "Thank you, it's the best Christmas present I've ever had." And then proceeds to
slits Art's neck with it. Like,
yeah, she turns around, slits Art's neck. It's the sword.
Yeah,
Cuts
her legs loose and throws it, and it hits Vicky like right here, the demon lady, and she goes ah. So then she gets up, she runs at it, and like decapitates the bitch. And
fire, great, glad thing that happened.
By this time, Art's already up. He got his chainsaw up and running somehow without any like background noise or anything.
Bro was ready to go, and he starts fighting her.
Yeah.
And this is the part that pisses me off. So at some point in the fight, the sword gets flung out of Sienna's hand, and she also flings the chainsaw out of Art's hand. And then there's Gabby going, "Mom! Mom!" Her mom's fucking dead, like obviously dead. And then she starts staring at Vicky's body melting into gas. And she doesn't think for 2 seconds to maybe I should get the fuck away.
Maybe I should run. So, in this, Gabby and or not Gabby, Sienna and Art the Clown are having this super dope ass fight.
Fire. By the way, it turns out apparently she can heal herself now because her hands are no, her hands are fine. Like look.
Oh yeah,
let's
they
be
were
real.
squishy earlier.
They were squishy, and then now she's fighting. So
I mean, adrenaline I can kind of see, but like not that.
No, I'm sorry. Her bones were completely out. She couldn't open the thing. She literally couldn't peel back the paper because her hands were completely destroyed. So clearly, it heals her. Let's just be honest.
And yeah, so they're having this super intense fight. Art gets her down on the floor, and he's like moving her head slowly to the chainsaw. She grabs his nuts to get him off him.
This is the part that really pisses me off. The sword is over there by the chair.
Gabby could have ran up and got it.
Like, it's close enough where Gabby could see that in the layout of the house. Move, grab it, and stab the motherfucker. Save Sienna, you fucking idiot.
And she gives one assist the entire fight, and it's when she like whacks Art once with a broken table leg. And so after that, like, they're still fighting. She gets him off him. She runs to get the sword, or she gets thrown, and she goes to get the sword. And Art like gets his chainsaw, gets stuck, and she stabs him through the stomach. And he's like sitting there, and she's like, "Ah, die, die!" And then when this is happening, Gabby's in the back, and that smoke starts to like fill up, and it breaks the floor down to like 8.
So she either is going to kill Art or save Gabby. Fun fact: she does fucking neither. So she tries to save Gabby, and Gabby
for some
falls.
reason, instead of grabbing one of the many broken chair legs or anything else that was long enough, she decides, oh, what's a good idea? Let's grab the sharp-ass demon-killing sword and hand it to her handle first, and I'll grab it by the blade.
So it slips, and Gabby dies. I mean, we don't know if Gabby dies. She's in hell, basically, or what I think is hell. I actually have no idea where the fuck she is. And she said, I'll find you, and Art's gone. So not only did Art live, she also didn't save Gabby. And I don't think Art can revive anymore, because, oh my god, I thought the door was about to open, and I was actually about to piss myself. You hit the floor, and it made everything creak, and it scared the actual living shit out of me because of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So Art disappears, and he gets on a bus and leaves, because I don't think he can be revived anymore without the demon lady. So if he dies, he dies. So he leaves. He just straight up leaves. And then she's like, I'll find you, Gabby. I will find you. And then that is the end of the movie.
I didn't stick around to see if there's any post-credit scene or anything. I got up and left.
I had shit in my pocket, and I go, hold on, I think something slipped out. Motherfucker was gone. I just turned around like, dude, where the fuck did you go? We got some dope-ass Transformer 1
we did.
fucking cups, though, and that was cool.
But, yeah, alright.
So now we're going to go to the frog scale. So, on the frog scale, the way we rate things is, like, you know how there's, like, Rotten Tomatoes, the popcorn audience scale. So we're going to rate things on how many fucking crickets did Kermit eat. because Kermit's fat as fuck. So, on the frog scale, I'm gonna say Kermit I don't know about you.
We're doing it like out of 5, right?
No, let's do out of 10. Let's
Okay.
do out of 10 so we have more variety. It was a good movie.
I would say
the gore was really good. The
7.
child deaths, I would say 7.8.
Mm-hmm.
I would give it like a 7.8 crickets. It was really good. It was dark. It had a lot of the mystic things. The only things I would really say are the downsides. I think some of the plot was lost and the end of the movie felt rushed. Everything else was pretty good. It was pretty slow paced, and I felt like they could have picked up the pace a little bit in the beginning, so the ending wasn't. Holy fucking shit! What the fuck is happening? I don't even know what happened. The movie ended with me being what the fuck, and if there's a fourth one, I'm probably not going to watch it.
I mean, I'm watching the 4th one.
I think we need to finish it. I think we need to finish the Terrifier series, and I think we'll.
I think I would rate it a 7 personally. I didn't enjoy the child deaths. That's really what got to me the most. Besides the feeling of helplessness in scenes like that, like when the mom got the tube, or when the aunt got the tube in her throat, it just made me feel so helpless. Like she thought she lost everything. And she just wanted revenge, and yet she couldn't do it.
She had nothing, and she just died with nothing. It was a good movie. At the end of the day, it was a really, really good movie. It was dark. It was everything you would want in a new age slasher film.
I feel like
I wish they had a little bit more cool deaths. I think some of the, I wish they would have subtracted the mall bomb scene out when they kill all the kids for some dope. Like, I wish he would have killed all of Santa and the elves and then scared the kids with their bodies or something, with stakes. I don't mind the kid deaths as much. I just wish it would have been played out like that, and I feel like that would have been more it would have been cooler to see the ways in which he could kill those guys, because they can't really give too gruesome deaths to kids because
they're kids.
Holy fuck. And a ton of people walked out of the movie. We had a ton of people leave the theater. But at the end of the day, good movie.
It was a good movie.
His pupils were dilated for fucking hours. They still kind of are.
It's just like when I talk about it now, but
yeah, when he legitimately might have gotten PTSD from this movie.
But
I may have it too, low key, because my pupils are getting kind of big. It was something, man. It was just a lot.
It was a lot, and I feel like there were some funny scenes in it. I'll give it that. Art the Clown overall, his mannerisms kind of tie together the movie very well, and I just kind of I don't know. It was good.
I wish we had more fun. I wish they had more funny art scenes. They really didn't. They subtract a lot of funny art scenes from more scenes with Sienna and the story. Now
which isn't bad or anything, but at the same time they also subtracted some of the funny art scenes for more gore. Like Terrifier 1, I feel like had some peak art scenes. That's what you want from it, you know?
Terrifier 2 was very gory, very, very, very gory.
There were people throwing up, having seizures and stuff. Stories of all that, you know?
And in 3, I really feel like they missed out on a little bit. I think they try to combine the two a little bit more, and I feel like they kind of missed the mark here. I like the dialogue and exposition that we happened to get with a lot of the Sienna scenes, but at the same time, I feel like they actually lost a bunch of stuff because of how rushed they kind of felt near the end of the movie.
And I felt like a lot
I
of
don't know
times,
what the fuck was going on, and it kind of feels unfinished. I understand it's... I feel like it's more of a part movie than it is... I understand this is supposed to be, the one before the next one. But, man, the ending of this just felt like, holy crap. It kind of feels like the entire movie, which I feel like is good. But I wish they would have had either less exposition throughout the movie or more, because I didn't feel like I gained much of anything.
I personally, I didn't exactly like how a lot of times during the scenes they would have some really emotional dialogue, and then it just kind of cut off to and I think it just cut off to something relevant, but I wish
Also,
we got
John
more
got
characters.
off-screened.
yeah, Jonathan and the uncle got off-screened, which I feel like shouldn't
Jonathan
have
was-
been done since he was a major character of the last movie.
That
I do have a theory that I'll go into later on how Jonathan could come back in the next movie. But, like I was saying, an example of...
they lied once.
um,
They would probably lie again.
Hmm?
If the
Bro,
way
let me go on my little rant real quick. Good lord. I'm trying to say, like, okay, so in the movie... my bad.
this motherfucker,
But,
man, he just wants to die. He just wants to die.
But, so, what I'm saying is, like, there were scenes where they'd have some, like, really emotional dialogue, and then it'd cut off to just Art the Clown killing someone. And I think a prime example of this that's somewhat relevant to the story is at the beginning when Sienna first gets, like, their first interaction with Gabby, and then it cuts to that scene of Art and Vicky killing the construction workers. I felt like it was a good scene. It had good gore and everything, and it overall fit the kind of like theme almost, like of what they go by in Art the Clown, but I feel like it was unnecessary and we could have gone without seeing it, but nonetheless the effects were good and everything.
So, yeah, the whole movie was a lot. And I hope you guys enjoyed our kind of synopsis and review of the
And like I said,
movie. If you want more this kind of thing, we will do one for Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3. And we'll try to get a little bit better, Terrifier 1. We'll try to get a little bit better with them, make them a little shorter, kind of get through stuff a little bit faster, but this is the first one, so.
yeah. Well, how
Yeah.
do you think Terrifier 4 is going to come out? Like, before we end it.
Before we end it, okay. I think Terrifier 4 is going to have something to do with Gabby, not Gabby. Yeah, we'll probably have some Gabby scenes in Hell, if that's where she is. We'll probably see a lot of Sienna trying to find her, and I think we will find Jonathan finding her, because I don't think Jonathan is dead.
I think Jonathan's dead. I think what's going to happen is Sienna is going to travel through, like, somehow she'll find a way to...
What would be really cool, actually, is, if, sorry, I didn't mean to go. If, Gabby in Hell sees all of, Sienna's friends. Vicky.
Oh, yeah.
Like the real Vicky, not the demon, the real one. Because they're all down there. Or, I mean, not necessarily in Hell, but they're all down, they're all somewhere. Vicky's
And I don't think heaven exists in the Terrifier universe, to be honest.
Clearly it does, but we can argue about that.
I feel like what's the future for these movies? I feel like some way Vicky is going to find her way back into Hell and find Jonathan in Hell because...
He's talking about Sienna, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Find Jonathan in Hell, and they're going to go through this little journey to find Gabby and bring her back, because technically she's not supposed to be in Hell. She didn't die, and she's...
she fucking fell, which makes no sense. It didn't really make any sense at all what happened.
Like,
her body created mist, and it created a gate to Hell, apparently, because that's just how that works.
I feel like they'll go through their trials and tribulations to get there, and I feel like it'll most likely end up either having Sienna's dad play a bigger part in the story, and because he says, "Oh, I'll always be with you," so I feel like he'll either play a bigger part in that story and getting everybody back, or Sienna will have to make the hero sacrifice in order for her family to go on to...
Either way, I think Terrifier 4 is the end. I think there will not be another Terrifier after Terrifier.
If there is another Terrifier going in, like, past 4, I feel like they're just dragging it. That's like going from, like, regular Friday the 13th movies to Jason Goes to Space.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright.
But,
I have to take him.